Gloria, what do you think that Filner needs to do to make this right? Obviously, you would say go much further than this.
Well, yes, and we did file a sexual harassment lawsuit. We're the only ones to have filed a lawsuit so far on behalf of our client, Irene McCormick Jackson, on Monday and held a news conference. And I want to commend all the other women for coming forward since then. And what I would say is that what I want is for the mayor to resign. I think that this is a ploy to try to buy time. He has damaged many, many women. If it is true that all of the allegations that these women have made, and this is not about just apologizing to him, it is about the harm that he's done. He has disgraced the city of San Diego. He needs to resign, and he needs to resign right now.
And obviously, this is a sensitive question that I want to talk to you about. And I think a lot of people do understand why some of these women may not have come out sooner. But you look at a lot of them on paper, these are very upstanding, professional, seemingly very believable women. Why wouldn't they come out sooner, do you think?
Well, I can only speak for my client, and she was his director of communications. She was part of what he called his core team, and she was trying to tough it out. But finally, she couldn't tough it out anymore. And the mayor now is announcing what? That he's getting therapy. So I ask, therapy for what? Does he need help to know that you don't say to a person who is working for you, such as Irene, that she should come to work without her panties on? Does he need therapy to know that you don't treat women as pieces of meat? Does he need therapy to know that you don't say that you want to consummate a relationship with a woman and tell her you love her and want to marry her, as you did with Irene, who was working for him and the city? This man needs to resign. It's simple as that. Then he can get therapy after he resigns.
Morgan, is that what you would like to see? You'd like to see him resign, I imagine?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. He is addicted to power and control and has been for at least all of his public life. And in his very weak decision to go into therapy, he still gets his addiction. He still gets his fix of keeping the power and control. And in doing so, he subjugates us once again to even see his face on television or around the city and bring up all that horrible feeling that we have when we see his face. It brings back all of our experience with him and the dehumanizing way that he treated us. And this is a man addicted to power and control, and he's not about to give it up. And he doesn't care that we still have to suffer with him as our so-called mayor.
Morgan, talk about that. How egregious were his advances on you, and how did you feel going through that process?
Well, like I've said in many of the interviews, I had not been restrained by a man in 24 years. And in that moment, 24 years before, I vowed I would never let that happen in my life again. And I have worked diligently to make sure that didn't. And here I was handing him the hope of America's children on the America's Angel campaign to the Obamas. And then he treats me like a piece of meat. He was entrapping me. He would not let me leave unless I kissed him, which that was not going to happen. And it brings it all back up again. And you know, there's a saying that I might forget what you said, but I will never forget how you made me feel. None of us will ever forget. We hear his name and it all comes back to us, much less seeing his face and thinking he's in power as our mayor.
And at this point, you have 7 women who have come forward. How long did this go on for you? And do you expect that you'll be seeing more women come forward?
I do expect, yes, that there will be more women coming forward, because there is a catharsis to be able to say yes and to hold him accountable. Even if he resigned, I would still want to see women coming forward, just to keep him feeling at some very superficial level what we feel, the humiliation, the shame, all of that.
Gloria Allred.
If he's capable of feeling those things.
Certainly. Gloria Allred, a final word from you.
Yeah, you know, again, he should get therapy after he resigns. It's just absurd that the mayor at age 70 doesn't know that sexual harassment is against the law, doesn't know it's not appropriate to say to someone who works for him that he'd like her to come to work without her panties on, and grabs her in a headlock as he did with Irene and tries to kiss her, and she pushes him away, and he still continues with his sexual harassment. This is a ploy. We know what it is. We see what it is. We're not going to be fooled by it, and we are going to continue with our lawsuit against him.
Gloria Allred, Morgan Rose, thank you to both of you.